Hello, everybody. This is Declan Byrne with the WiMAX Forum. Welcome back to yet another iteration of our virtual presentation series. It's been a few weeks since we chatted, but we're delighted today to have a couple of representatives of two companies doing very, very different things, but in the AeroMax world, but I think interesting all the same. We decided, as you would know, to create really and publish this virtual series because of COVID-19, and it became very, very difficult for folks around the world to travel. And so much of what we do is bringing the community together to talk about application development, events, case studies, marketing, et cetera, et cetera. So we've been really, really happy with this series. I hope you have too. And it really began with, on a really strong footing, I think, with Eurocontrol, FAA, and ICAO, sort of the three, not the most premier, but three premier regulators, ANSPs, et cetera, and folks that were just essential to the development of the rationale and the technology underpinnings, if you will, for AeroMax and longtime friends of AeroMax. Our second series, we were lucky to go to some users of the kit, Aviation Data Communications Corporation of China, which has 22 airports deployed on a planned deployment of 120. Talked about their plans, the rationale. Ianti, which is our kind of front end for PKI cybersecurity, talked about the importance of PKI security certificates, and then Siemens as a manufacturer deploying in China and elsewhere, talked about sort of the breadth of their equipment and their commitment to AeroMax. We continued in that vein by having users and manufacturers cooperate in the presentation. The next series, next presentation in the series, we have DigiCert, which is actually the world's largest issuer of PKI certificates and a partner for the WiMAX Forum, talk about the ease with which they can deliver and provision AeroMax security certificates. Lisbon Airport, as part of Vinci Group, talked about their deployments with AeroMax over the years and its commercial and how that's expanding and the application set, how happy they are with the AeroMax. And then Telrad, as an equipment manufacturer based in Israel, board member of the WiMAX Forum, longtime friend to AeroMax as well, and a manufacturer supplier to Lisbon Airport, sort of talked about their equipment set. Our next series, we had Avicom, which was the aviation communication service provider in Japan, talk about their intentions vis-a-vis AeroMax in Japan, which will really, I think, kick into high gear in 2021. And they have a very, very kind of ambitious, robust effort underway with AeroMax. So watch that space, if you will. And then we had Honeywell and Leonardo on the manufacturing side talk about, from an avionics standpoint and a ground infrastructure side, what they're doing, the demand they're seeing, and how AeroMax fits into their product portfolio on a going forward basis. The fifth presentation in the series, we had a longtime members of the WiMAX Forum, Cellplan, which is one of the world's leading radio planning companies, talk about sort of myths and do's and don'ts vis-a-vis radio planning, vis-a-vis AeroMax, looking really at capacity and cell planning, et cetera, for AeroMax networks, which are really starting to ramp up. We're probably at over 50 or 60 airports now in 15 or 20 countries, and that will only increase, particularly as we get past the artificial depression, if you will, of COVID-19. And then PowerTech Labs, we were delighted to have them participating in one of our series here. They're our aviation, our AeroMax certified designated certification laboratory of record, and they are the ones that are certifying manufacturers' equipment so that it comports to the AeroMax standard. We were so happy to announce that Siemens, as the first manufacturer, has completed their certification, and now they have fully certified equipment available to market. So in a somewhat similar way, today we're moving to ConvergEX technologies, and longtime friend of mine, Rafael Del Carpio, will be talking about, that's a company with really a focus on the device side, with offices in the United States and elsewhere, and a real good link into Asia for innovative but also cost-efficient manufacturing. So Rafael will be talking about their product portfolio, what they're seeing And then Antonio Correas, another longtime friend with Skymantics, going to talk about a really an international project that he is headlining, publishing an analysis on wireless technologies in the aviation space, not only for airlines, but also for airports. And undoubtedly, Antonio will be reaching out to many of you to feed into his analysis, and you all may be consumers of that analysis. We've already had a nice conversation, and we'll undoubtedly have more with Antonio and his team on that front. So the WiMAX Forum is a not-for-profit. We're industry-led. We're sort of the ecosystem technology managers, if you will. We don't sell anything. We curate the standard. We've been around for 20 years now, and initially we cut our teeth on telecom standards, and but certainly the last 4 or 5 years we've been almost exclusively Aeromax focused, which is appropriate. That's where certainly where the interest is for WiMAX technology now, but it's also a very, very big, probably 30-year line of business. So it's been appropriate on that standpoint to focus on that too. Next slide, please. Aeromax is a technology standard that really was begun in about 2004, 2005 in terms of aviation regulators asking themselves what suite of communications technologies would they need as they moved into the 21st century. And Aeromax with set-aside spectrum was one of those technologies alongside LDAX and SATCOM that was determined to be sort of essential for the aviation industry to manage, all the issues associated with increased traffic, congestion, delays, et cetera, really enhancing safety in the 21st century. Aeromax is the most mature of those other standards, of the new standards, and is the one that is actually being commercially deployed. So without further ado, I'm going to move to Rafael Del Carpio. And Rafael, I'd invite you to talk about your company and your portfolio of products, and take it away, my friend.
Thank you very much, Declan. Opportunity. Well, let's talk about a little bit ConvergEX. ConvergEX is a company basically located in Tampa with international presence. We are an add value for hardware and services in the wireless broadband industry. We are able to do some partnerships with different vendors that are designing and developing different technology, where we go to the markets. Basically, one of the markets is Aeromax, with turnkey projects in these vertical markets. In the particular case of the products, we are super focused in the CPE. That is basically the customer premise equipment, the device that goes at the subscriber, let's say, location. But we are not limited only to that market. We are going to different authentication solutions, base stations, consultant services for Aeromax, airports, governments, enterprises, vertical markets like oil, gas, always with the technology in the wireless arena, like WiMAX or pre-WiMAX, WiMAX Advanced, LTE, and Wi-Fi, right? So this is basically our in the market, and this is basically the idea to integrate different solutions with one single prime contractor, let's say. So let's move the other one. So where our devices are installed, right? Where Declan was talking about the avionics, that is basically all the technology associated to this industry for aircrafts or the ecosystem. So the most important one is the aircraft. And we have had some experience in installing some modules of our devices in the aircraft with interesting results. Has been at this stage some, let's say, like trials or prototypes that has been working very well. The one that we have been having a lot of expectation has been the ground handling equipment for all the ecosystem in the airport, like sensor radars, all the fixed fueling services. I believe this solution has been working pretty well, very secure, a very stable connection, and this is one of the products that we have been, exploring the most. A new product that we're going to be presenting in this presentation, I believe, is going to have much more attraction and an explosion of applications that we can use in this segment. So we have the fixed and mobile applications. We have some experience, tentative experience with luggages, food provision services, obviously security, where again, if you can have a mobile application, the options are basically endless, right? To integrate it with other solutions or applications. So we expect a very, very dynamic 2021 with this new device that we are going to be presenting now. So this is outdoor products that we have today. The device is basically outdoor, 100%, has all the certifications, the full IP60 protocols and standards approved. We have had a success with this device, has been commercialized in different trials and initial commercial deployments. The chipset is GCT, and this product is now, so we can start exploring with this product and with different activities around the world. So let's take a look at the other one. This is part of the internal, let's say, this is the PCB, outdoor CPE. Again, is with the GCT chipset, can give you all the integration for the different operating for DHCP or static IP, bridge mode, routing mode. So all the applications, you have an IP, a very secure IP connection there, and after that you can connect it to different applications from the regular Wi-Fi connectivity from the internet to different vertical applications. This chipset is the same one that is going to be used in the CPE, that is the next slide. This is the slice is this is like a cellular phone. Smart that is the handheld for WiMAX, supporting also 3G, 4G bands. It's a multi-band solution that is operating in Android 8.1, bands for WiMAX, supporting the option of walkie-talkie with a throughput of 22 megabits per second, and with the capacity of providing Wi-Fi connectivity AC in 2.4 and 5.8. So this device is, we have already samples. We have the first, let's say, wave of this product that is commercially available, can be commercialized most probably in the Q1, between Q4 and Q1 next year. And again, this is starting to find different vertical applications because of the barcode. For example, we have an experience for barcode to read luggages in different airports, and is obviously starting to explode in the different vertical applications that we can identify in the market to optimize process, and obviously have less time of the aircraft, without being used. So in that particular case, that model is being used successfully, and we expect to have much more activity in the coming months. Another point, and this is only to reinforce this advantage that this protocol and standard has, is the security and the authentication that the technology has, because we are talking about an ecosystem that is is highly expensive and needs to be, stable, robust, with the capability of working with lower latency, agnostic in the sense of being integrated with different applications and devices, which is basically interoperable with other technologies. And it has the support, right? The support of the different, in this case, Aleppo AAA is one of the leaders in the dedication for this solution. So this is something important to remember, to take in consideration, because I believe this is one of the core values of the solution in use commercially in the airport. So only to repeat, right, the different applications. Maybe this is a little bit out of date, but we have an estimation of 332 different applications for different segments in the airport. And again, with this mobile device, we can even increase that number for the common or most standard application we can identify in the markets today in the airports, from the electronic flights, from all the preparation of the flight, during the flight, and once the flight is, or the airplane is in the airport again, without talking about all the different services and applications that we can manage. So the next one. So a little bit, this is always a good point to reinforce that by using this technology and by making the process much more efficient by using this technology, we are reducing the time of the airport that is being in the airport without being used, let's say. So this is money, and we can take in consideration that value in the business case, because it's going to be the one that is going to justify immediately the investment for this technology. And again, the options are totally open still to in order to continue getting economy from, obviously, and efficiencies in this process. There is one additional one, and it's only to the investment, and it's we're discussing before. The investment is being paid by itself when you start taking a look at the efficiencies. The capex has been always a situation that, thanks to the granularity that the technology has, you can escalate. Let's say, as you grow, right? You can grow you can pay as you grow, and this is another of the that we have, and we have seen that obviously there are ones to test a very small network, one base station and two locations, and they see and recognize the benefit of the technology immediately. So I believe it's going to be a very exciting year, this coming year, with what is going to be happening for the different applications we can have with the mobile device. This is my contact information. So if you have any doubt, any additional information, business case, or success stories about the use of our devices in the different airports and trials that we are carrying out, just send me an email. I can share the data sheet and the experience that I'm collecting from the market. And obviously, it's gonna do the synergy we need to continue pushing for the protocol and the standard of WiMAX.
Thanks very much, Rafael. I think that was great. I think you will see a tremendous amount of interest, I would imagine, this year and next, certainly, with the handheld, the ruggedized handheld. It seems to be really an all-in-one kind of Swiss Army knife approach to what airport operators and others might need on the airport surface, and the fact that it has 3G, 4G, Wi-Fi, and Aeromax, plus barcode technologies and other technologies all on board, I think make it very, very interesting. So that's great that you're bringing that to market. Let me move to Antonio Correas, if you would. I won't try to explain what you are doing because it's reasonably complicated, but it will be super beneficial, I think, to the aviation community. So, Antonio, if you could take it away, my friend.
Sure, thank you, Declan, and thanks to the WiMAX Forum for the opportunity to present this exciting new project we're starting right now. So, just a few words first about us, about Skymantics. So, we are a small business. We started in 2015, and we are a consulting company, mostly working for federal agencies in the US. We also have some business in Europe. And we do mostly research and prototyping support in the fields of information exchange, artificial intelligence, and geospatial data. And we work mostly in the market of aviation, and then the wider transportation market, and then also a bit on logistics and supply chain. So this project I'm going to talk about, this is a new project we were recently awarded, and we are kicking off. We officially kicked off end of June, and we're starting the research activities right now. Yeah, but first I will tell a bit about what ACRP is, which is the program context where this project lies in. So the ACRP, or Airport Cooperative Research Program, is an applied research program that is sponsored by the FAA. Is managed by the National Academy of Sciences, which is a non-profit organization that manages publicly funded research, but that is driven by the industry. So for ACRP specifically, the airport industry comes together to define the problems and the needs that the industry has at some given moment, and then the National Academy of Sciences puts together research proposals for contractors and the technology industry to do research on. It's a program that exists since 2005 and has been creating a wide variety of products in the forms of publications that are freely available to the public. They are very highly regarded documents, in the sense that even if they're not standards, they're the next thing to it. So they are considered best practices in the industry, and they are widely followed by the airport community and practitioners. So within ACRP, the project we're working on is ACRP 357, and the title for it is a guidebook to prepare airports for transformations in wireless connectivity. So the goal of this project is to prepare a guidebook or a reference manual that is going to become the reference document for best practices for airport managers and decision makers, to help them navigate through the let's say complicated state of the art in emerging wireless technologies, and help them through quantitative analysis tools, help them make the best decisions in terms of investment, like what wireless solutions to invest in, at which time, and how to deploy them in the most optimal way for return of investment. The duration of this project, so as said, it just started now in July, and is expected to last 18 months. So the results are expected to be published by the end of 2021. And the expected results are on one side, a taxonomy of wireless architectures and the use cases and business models for the airports that can be supported by wireless architectures, meaning a comparative study about which solution is best to cover which needs. And then we're also, as I said, we're also generating quantitative tools in terms of in indicators, metrics, and then tools in the forms practical tool sets for airport decision makers who don't necessarily have the technical knowledge to choose and select the best investment in wireless technologies for the business goals that they want to attain. A very important thing is that we will exemplify or illustrate those decision-making tools we are creating with specific examples of US airports to validate that the tools are designed the right way, and then also to help potential users to make use of those tools through examples. And then another result will be also to consider implementation aspects or more practical considerations that airport practitioners have to follow when deploying a wireless solution at the airport. I'm talking here about the use of spectrum, standards, regulations, maintenance, and so on. An important thing also to consider is that one of the types of use cases we are going to consider here involve quick recovery and sustainable recovery also from the COVID crisis for the airport industry. Next slide, please. So we are going to consider all the potential families of wireless technologies that have some relevance, let's say, in the airport environment. So we're going to be considering cellular, 5G, Wi-Fi 6/7, also low power options for personal area networks and IoT. But no study on wireless technologies for the airports would be complete without IDOMAX. Mostly, IDOMAX has some key differentiators compared to other technology options or technology families. In the sense that on one side, it has aviation-specific standards that are endorsed by ICAO and other standardization bodies like RTCA and AWEC. It has dedicated spectrum, which is protected for aviation safety and regularity applications. And then it has also higher standards for security from the point of view of security protocols and techniques, and then also the use of public infrastructure for user authentication. So for IDOMAX, we're going to be focusing on the potential use cases where IDOMAX has the most relevance for applications. So we will be discussing here ramp management for aircraft turnaround, management of vehicles and assets like sensors or multilateration for surveillance that are installed on the airport surface. We'll also be looking at emergency use cases like fire and rescue. And then, of course, security and perimeter surveillance. We will be looking also at other use cases, because one of the first tasks that we're starting now is to have the complete picture of the use cases for the use of wireless applications in the airport. So we are reaching out to different stakeholders to help us understand which technology are best for which use cases. And for IDOMAX, that's also the case, where we are going to have to discover and explore potential new use cases. Also, in combination of other technologies. I think that's a very important result of this project, because no wireless technology solution is probably going to be working alone in the airport. It is going to be a lot of considerations on interoperability for different technologies working together in the enterprise network of the airport, and then also compatibility aspects for access to different type of spectrum. Skymantics are going to be the leaders of the project, and then we're going to be supported on one side by Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, and then Astrid on the operational and performance measurement. Then on the right side, you have the technical members of the team. So we have Sensafili as experts of wireless technologies, and then Blackbox Network Services, who are the IT providers for Miami International, who are going to be providing the more practical aspects of wireless infrastructure deployment and maintenance. Next slide, please. And then other than the research team, we are forming 2 advisory groups, which are composed by stakeholders into expertise groups or areas of influence. One is composed by the airport authorities, and these ones are going to be providing the point of view from the user. So they are going to be the readers of the final publications of the project, and then the end users of the best practices we're going to be developing. So we have we do a lot of effort here to have a wide variety of types of airports here. So we have airports of different sizes, and then we have also different types of operations of airports. So we are going to be paying attention not only to passenger operations, but also to cargo. We're going to be looking at general aviation, training, events, executive also, general aviation. We have spaceport also, which is CISL. It's also managed by Jacksonville Airport Authority. And then on the bottom side, you see the technology stakeholders. So this is going to be the other advisory group, and they're going to be providing feedback and support on the supplier point of view. So basically to help us understand what the business model and the supply chain looks like from the point of view of the providers of equipment and user services. So here we have Ms. Nguyen, who is a manager at 5G Americas, and we also have the support from Boingo Wireless and the WiMAX Forum. And then we also have support from the Wireless Research Center of North Carolina and the Telecom Infra Project. And here we are still in the phase of reaching out to potential stakeholders who would be willing to join us in the technology stakeholder group and help us fill the gap or to provide new points of view in the industry, because it's a very complex industry where having more opinions or insights is going to enrich the results. So, and then I just invite you to follow us on Twitter and LinkedIn. We're going to be posting progress on the and the intermediate results we get from the project. And if you would like to be involved, as I said, we are really willing to get more feedback from new points of view, especially on the technology side in the wireless industry. By all means, please drop me an email, and I would be happy to share and to get you involved in the project as a stakeholder also. Okay, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Antonio. You know, it's interesting. I was just talking earlier in the day with representatives of the airport community, and not only are we seeing just in the normal course of events, right? We're seeing an increased use of wireless technology by airports, by airlines, you know, folks in the aviation industry, you know, calling, which would then call rationally for your kind of analysis, right? What are best practices in terms of use of wireless technology? But because of COVID-19, there's an increased desire. What can we virtualize? What can we make remote? What can we make touchless? And I think wireless ought to, you know, one would intuit, wireless is going to have a strong role to play, wireless like AeroMax and other technologies, a strong role to play in sort of a post-COVID or a recovering COVID, post-COVID world, I think, for the aviation industry. So I think your report is timely from that standpoint as well. So thank you very much for your participation and your attendance, folks. Once again, thanks to Antonio and Rafael for 2 excellent presentations. We will be presenting virtually at the ICNS conference this September. I'll be presenting, as well as one of our member companies, Leonard Korovajchuk, who's one of the founders for CellPlan, which we talked about. We are really ramping up, forgive the pun, airport deployments worldwide. I was talking to someone just the other day. You compare that one lonely deployment in 2009 with NASA at Cleveland, the kind of real test trial deployment, with so many deployments now, new deployments in 2020 that we can't even fit them on a slide. So that represents, I think, great progress. And it's certainly been our pleasure to sort of work with the industry as we move forward here. So reach out to us with any questions or comments. And once again, thanks for your participation. Bye-bye now.